It's a rematch of the 2022 NWSL Challenge Cup Finals. Two teams looking to rekindle that early season success are set to duke it out for already the fourth time in 2022 as the Washington Spirit hosts the North Carolina Courage live on Twitch. Hi everybody, John Gross with you on this Saturday night in Leesburg, Virginia. Segra Field's the site of this one, and again, the fourth meeting already in 2022 between these two clubs. I don't think familiar does it justice. They met 3 times in Challenge Cup, twice in group action, and of course the final time in the finals of Challenge Cup, a match that was won by North Carolina 2-1. And they're set to duke it out here in the regular season for the first of 2 times this year. And what should be a really intriguing matchup. And off we go. Washington Spirit 1-2-5 in the season. They have been scoreless over their last 2 matches, but their problem's certainly bigger than just that. Winless in 7 consecutive matches entering this evening's affair. Sanchez works it wide to Trinity Rodman. Those two back in the starting 11. We'll get to that momentarily. And Washington unable to clear, North Carolina unable to clear momentarily, but a whistle. And again, the names Ashley Sanchez and Trinity Rodman, certainly a welcome sight for manager Chris Ward, a first-year head man, and Washington Spirit fans in general. Those two missed some time. They both came on as substitutes last match in their 0-0 draw on Wednesday against Chicago, but back in the starting 11. Here comes Dabinia. Now Brianna Pinto, just her second start of the season. Leah Berkeley tries to work it to the wide area. And Helferty, the first one to it. So Washington winless in its last 7, and a big reason why has been just a lack of players. They're without 9 players today. This has been a common trend for them throughout this season, a lot of schedule congestion. In fact, in speaking with Chris Ward, he said that in the last 32 days, they've had just 1 actual training day. Other than that, a lot of rest and recovery, some running, but they just have not had a lot of time to practice. As Caroline works it back in her 3rd appearance for North Carolina this year. It's the Courage in the whites, and Washington Spirit in the blues. Carolina enters today after that remarkable Challenge Cup run where they won the cup. They have gotten off to a slow start this year. Currently sitting last in the league table. Just 4 points in the year. Albeit they are coming off of their first win, a 3-0 thrashing of Racing Louisville. As Dabinia can't catch up to it. And I didn't get a chance to speak with Sean Nahas, but I did get to chat with an interim head coach just for today. Sean Nahas in COVID protocol, so he is not on the touchline. Nathan Thackeray is the man in charge tonight for North Carolina. He said that they were very pleased with that performance against Racing Louisville. Really thrilled about how they got those 3 points, got that first win, and the way that they did it. Look at the expected goals in that one. And it was .83 North Carolina, .74 Louisville. And a final of 3-0, clearly surpassing the metrics. Both teams come out in a 4-2-3-1. There's Biegalski. Tries to slip it forward. Quality interception. Dabinia Caroline, tough spot along the touchline, and it's a throw for Washington. To snap a 7-match winless skid. Coming off of that 0-0 midweek draw. As Caroline is whistled. Caroline, somebody who had missed some serious time, but a welcome return for North Carolina. The Brazilian forward subbed out after 83 minutes last weekend against Racing Louisville. Prior to that, had not played since April 29th. Sanchez, dispossessed. Sonnet wins the header. And out comes Pinto. Rolls it ahead. Caroline looking to get the scoring started early. Working, far post, and in. The 22-year-old's her first goal of the season.
North Carolina goal in the 6th minute, scored by number 9, Carolyn.
The Brazilian, who came from humble beginnings, takes a wonderful threaded feed from Brianna Pinto and absolutely buries it. It's 1-0 North Carolina, and it's the start they were looking for. A 6-minute conversion for the 22-year-old, as Trinity Rodman, another young star in this league, is held up. But what a start for the Courage. Just the 3rd appearance of the regular season for Caroline, and she does that. She scored against Washington Spirit in the Challenge Cup final. And now Ashley Sanchez and company look to respond. Across from Sanchez. In a dangerous spot. And deflects out for a North Carolina Courage throw-in. High press shown by Washington Spirit. This is how they like to play, and keep in mind a team that has had this jam-packed schedule since the end of Challenge Cup play. Their longest break without a match was just 5 days. We'll see if perhaps tired legs is a factor as this one progresses. Ball won by Harding, back for Pagelski. And she's taken off the ball by Caroline. Give it right back to Washington. Maddie Elwell. Still launching across. Rodman back in the starting 11, came on as a substitute for the first time this season at halftime against Chicago. She had missed last Saturday's match against Gotham FC. Was in COVID protocols. Just got to look at Caroline and Tabinia, the dynamic Brazilian duo for North Carolina. stop. Comes all the way up from her center back spot. For this toss, it's a lot behind it. Flutters inside the 18. And is booted out of danger, at least momentarily. Stop. Has played every minute this season. Cross pops right back out and into the feet of Trinity Rodman. Targeted ball. Back heel. Very well played by Dabinia. Matthias. Now Denise O'Sullivan, the Irish midfielder. There's Carson Pickett. North Carolina looking to build off of this early advantage. Just 1-3-1 of this season. Rounding out a 3-match road trip. Here's Pickett. Plenty of space to launch one in. And it's high-pointed by the sure-handed Aubrey Kingsbury. Coming off of her second clean sheet of the season. She had 5 saves, a stellar performance. And Wednesday, if you love good goalkeeping, Wednesday night was the match for you. Aubrey Kingsbury in one net, Alyssa Nair in the other. Those two put on an absolute clinic in Wednesday night's 0-0 draw. Chris Ward said that really feels that Kingsbury being back with the U.S. national team has really boosted her confidence. Helped rediscover that confidence as she's been absolutely massive for this Washington side. Ball ahead from Bogulski. Came to the foot of Harding, but Harding unable to do anything else with it. Pinto. Now Ordonez, who has scored in consecutive matches. Ball wide for Pinto. Centering feed. Caroline unable to maintain it. Already 1 goal for the Brazilian. Into the 6th minute. Her first goal of this regular season. Carson Pickett. Now O'Sullivan. All the way back to Casey Murphy, who had her first clean sheet of the season in North Carolina's 3-0 win last weekend over Racing Louisville. Had 3 saves in that one. There's Caroline, paces inside the 18. Her cross is cut away at the waning moments by Emily Sonnet. You can see the dangerous areas that Caroline finds herself in. O'Sullivan, beautifully played ball. Pickett crosses centrally, and it's gloved by Kingsbury. But if you're Nathan Thackeray and his North Carolina Courage coaching staff, you have to be very pleased with your side start. Let's look back at this. And it was the feed from O'Sullivan, just no hesitation. And the right idea from Pickett to drive in that cross. Comes right back to the feet of Carson. There's a service. Not much going there. Harding harassed along the touchline, able to get rid of it, and up for a throw. The 13th regular season matchup between these two clubs, a series that has been fairly dominated by North Carolina. 8-3-1 all time in this regular season series. As Dabinia skies one forward, and Pigelski able to wiggle it out of the box. Still Dabinia, and a low blast deflects right back out. Carson Pickett, nice hesitation, driven ball. Stays in this attacking third. Ordonez could not get up to it. Possession has been absolutely dominated by North Carolina at about 70%. This is the way that they like to play. That's what Nathan Thackeray said earlier this week. Hey, they're not going to change their game plan just because the opponent might be a little bit fatigued. We want to play with the ball on our feet. We want to force Washington to run around. As far that's been the case. Almer just got rid of it. Left the ball. Here's Rodman, able to track it down. The $1 million star, Trinity Rodman, dancing. And a wayward attempt sails out over the end line. But there's a little bit more anticipation, a little bit more excitement in this stadium. And wherever she goes when the ball is at her feet. As dangerous, as skilled as you'll find Trinity Rodman. Her 7th start of the season. Of course, signed that historic deal, 4 years, $1.1 million reported deal to stay with Washington, largest in NWSL history. As O'Sullivan sneaks it forward, it's Caroline, and the offside flag is raised. Referee tonight, Jeremy Shear. Our assistant referees, Ashley Barnson and Tom Felice. And our 4th official is Marie Durr. And again, we thank you all for joining us on Twitch, wherever you may be tuning in from worldwide. John Gross, so thrilled that you're with us for this rematch of the Challenge Cup Finals. And a lot of star power, especially in this one. It's Rodman, it's a strike, and it finds the woodwork. What skill, what control, and what an effort from Trinity Rodman. Look at this. Lets it rip with her left foot. Murphy seemingly got fingertips on it. And it was just enough to direct it off the crossbar and out. So it's our first corner kick of the night for either side. Rodman, someone who Chris Ward said, I'm not sure if she's going to be able to play all 90 minutes tonight, but she'll get a good run of action. Still working her way back from COVID protocols. part of the Washington side that's been injury-riddled this season. 9 players out tonight. As Pickett threads it forward. Now Ordonez angled towards the touchline. And a throw in the other direction. Galski gives it away. Here's Caroline, and her cross comes off the chest of Kaylee Kurtz for a corner. Is there a second to the workings for North Carolina Courage in this first half? They've dominated the first 21 minutes in all metrics. Their first corner of the night. Blasted in from Carson Pickett. Dabinia marks it forward, gets it right back. Pickett, central A. And flutters over the head of everybody. Galski has some room to work with. Washington maintains some possession. Outside of the one shot from Trinity Rodman, they really have not been able to string much together. That was off of a beautiful long ball. Let's look back at the way that this last possession ended. You have to appreciate the 1-2 at the edge of the 18. Cross from Pickett just a little too high. Radar, space to work with. Now gets rid of it. There's Maddie Elwell. A rookie. Ordonez. Nathan Thackeray. Had very high praise of, and for good reason. She scored in consecutive matches. Quality touch here. Can she keep it in play? And able to angle it over the touchline. Now Dabinia. Oh, beautiful feed. Caroline! Off the legs of Kurtz. How about the creativity of Dabinia on that threaded feed? Starts with Ordonez, and just watch this pass through the wickets of Biegalski. And that Brazilian duo will strike fear into the hearts of their opponents for this 2022 season, to say the least. Short to Dabinia. Pickett tried to blast it in. Actually, it came off the face of Helferty. Seems to be okay. Washington Spirit looking to snap that 7-match winless streak. They are coming off of a midweek draw. A side that has been snake bitten in terms of their injury luck and lack thereof, and a lot of schedule congestion, but little time, if any, to practice. Just one actual training session in the last month or so, according to Chris Ward. Ordonez is taken to the turf. And a whistle in from Jeremy Shear, much to the dismay of the supporters here at Segra Field. We'll look back at this. Got some kind of awkward spin on it. Maybe a little bit of a shot from Pigalski. Get a better view here. Been a wonderful first 25 minutes for North Carolina Courage. They entered today last in the league table, but don't let that record fool you. As Pickett lofts it, and Kingsbury is there. But first a whistle. And it was Sonnet who was holding her head. And I think she'll be the one to get checked on. You can see number 6 in blue, Emily Sonnet. Sonnet in her 8th start of the season, 9th overall appearance. And any sort of contact to that head area is going to get some extended attention, and for good reason. Sonnet, who has World Cup experience with the U.S. national team, the former National Player of the Year at University of Virginia. There is Aubrey Kingsbury, two-time reigning NWSL Goalkeeper of the Year. Had another stellar season. Saved 80% of the shots that she's faced this year. There is the aforementioned Emily Sonnet. As Helferty works it forward. Kept in play. That's Maddie Elwell. Numbers inside the 18. Rodman just did not hit it well. Now it's Ulmer. And curls it well off target. But it was the play of the rookie, Maddie Elwell, the All-SEC player out of Vanderbilt, who really got that started. There she is, number 29. And in a pretty good ball, came to the foot of Rodman, and she'll finish that frequently. Ball. Issues for Anna Helferty. She is smooth up. And a whistle. Helferty, somebody who Chris Ward has also been really high on this year, says that Anna has all the tools. It's really just coming down to confidence for her. Still a young player. This is really her first time playing major minutes like she has this year. 19th overall pick in the 2021 draft after a standout career at Boston University. Davis on it, back in the pitch. After getting tended to, plays it right back to Kingsbury. Is there something in the workings here for Washington? They have numbers, and it's broken up momentarily. Rodder rolls for Ashley Sanchez. Sanchez working one-on-one. Sanchez gets the cross in, but it's cut away at the waning moments. Ball falls to the foot of Ulmer. Slips it forward. And the offside flag is raised. Maddie Elwell just a little ahead of things. But Washington is starting to show a little bit more consistency, a little more continuity with the ball on their feet. It was a 6th-minute goal by Caroline that has North Carolina in the driver's seat. Pickett as well to switch the field. Caroline tried to give it right back. Pickett leaves it for O'Sullivan. Caroline knocked it forward in the direction of Debinha. Falls to her fellow Brazilian and is given away. Taken right back by Denise O'Sullivan. Here's Caroline. 22-year-olds previously played for Madrid in Spain. Aaliyah Berkeley. Sullivan, an absolute mainstay with North Carolina, pacing towards the 18. Denise O'Sullivan hits the deck, no whistle. And a goal kick. It was the contest from Cameron Bogowski. Brought a little bit of a question. And a quick answer from our referee, Jeremy Shear. No foul. Rodman clearly shoved from behind by Carson Pickett. Acquired last year via trade with Orlando. Elwell drives it across, backside for Rodman. Carson Pickett is in some pain. It will be a corner kick, but more importantly, Carson Pickett will get tended to. Looked like the ball just ricocheted and hit her in the side of the head. The corner flag. It is Pride Night at Sanger Fields. In the midst of our Pride Month celebration in the NWSL. And it's fisted away by Casey Murphy for another corner. Dobbs' ball nearly found Emily Sonnet. And again, from the same corner flag. This time it's gloved by Casey Murphy. Ordonez, heavy first touch. Settles the foot of Dabinia momentarily. Now it's Caroline. How about that back heel for Ordonez? Some space in the right flank, driven right inside the 18, and a diving stop made by Kingsbury. Kingsbury approaching 30 saves in the season, but she is having her hands full with this dangerous front of North Carolina. And look at that. It's a tremendous back heel. And quickly blasted inside the box by the head of Caroline. Look at both of these fronts. The offensive talent is superb. Dabinia. Caroline tried to Meg Sonnet, unfazed. And Caroline whistled. Maybe she's not so sure about it. Solid crowd tonight at Sanger Fields, where Washington Spirit are 2-4-2 all time at the Leesburg, Virginia site. Washington 1-1-1 in home matches this season. Their home win came at Audi Fields in Washington. Harding, difficult spot to be in. And she's won her side of corner in the 38th minute. There's Abby Ursing. We saw that Pride-themed captain armband. It's one of two Pride-related events that will occur with the Washington Spirit. Later this season, they'll have a Pride celebration in Washington, D.C. for the September 10th match against San Diego. Donnie has jockeys with Radar. And that's won by Washington. Rodman, a blast! Always looking to get something going. Murphy, no trouble. You have to appreciate the confidence from the youngster. Here is Dabinia, the seasoned veteran. Pickett making that run. O'Sullivan. Now Berkeley. Pickett plays through. O'Sullivan wide for Caroline. One goal already for the 22-year-olds. Dances. Back for Pickett. Pickett gets her cross in. Just over the head of Ordonez. It's Pinto. Kept in. Oh, just beyond the outstretched foot of Dabinia. Nearly a second for North Carolina Courage. Pickett Again floats it. Sonnen heads it away. And Rodman looks to lead the counter. In the final minutes of this first half, it's Trinity Rodman. Leaves it for Ashley Sanchez. And a threatening moment broken up, but another corner kick on the way for Washington Spirit. Already the fifth corner kick for the home side. There is Dabinia, who is just inches from notching her third goal of the season. That's 2 of her sides, now 7 goals on the year. Fifth corner kick for Washington. Ball in from Sam Staub. Hops around and miss hit by Elwell. There was a crease, but the hit was not on target. Watch this, Elwell, she could straighten that out just a tiny bit, and by no means an easy angle, her momentum taking her the other direction. But certainly some improvement in the quality of play for Washington in the latter portion of this first 45 minutes. Good wide for Rodman, now on the left flank, and she was caught offside. Rodman, who nearly tucked in her second goal of the regular season earlier this half. By the way, if you haven't checked it out, ESPN Charlotte Gibson had a phenomenal article and a video piece that went along with it, released on June 3rd, titled Trinity Rodman, the Future of American Soccer Has Arrived. Details the development of the sport, her relationship with her famous NBA father, Dennis Rodman, and the bright future that she has in this league. Bogolski, nice movement around Dabinia. Bogolski nearly snuck it ahead to a streaking Harding. Helferty works it wide for Rodman, unable to get the cross in, but it will be a 6th first half corner kick for Washington Spirit. Interesting to see how many minutes Rodman gets on the pitch. Again, Chris Ward said, hey, I'm not sure if Trinity will get all 90 minutes, but she's worked very hard to get back into shape after missing some time. Taylor Ulmer gives it right back to Sanchez. Again, Ulmer, and the pass is intercepted by Dabinia. Giving it right away to Washington. The ball from Helferty skips comfortably into the hands of Murphy. A 1-0 score as we make our way to the 45th minute. It was a 6-minute goal off the foot of Caroline, her first goal of the regular season. It's a rematch of the Challenge Cup Finals, which was won by North Carolina. Also a rematch of a playoff duel from a season ago. A win for Washington Spirit in the first round of the playoffs a year ago, the reigning NWSL champs. Here's Rodman, slips it ahead. Elwell, did she stay onside? No, she did not. Ashley Varnson had the flag up and ready as we approach 2 minutes of stoppage time. Washington Spirit oh so close to the equalizer.
The fourth official has indicated that there will be a minimum of 2 minutes added to the half.
Leader shows the 2 minutes. Is it enough for an equalizer? It may just be. Harding rolls ahead. Directed out to Dabinia. Whistle by Emily Sonnet to cut that feed away. Teams looking to rekindle their winning ways in Challenge Cup. Washington Spirit, they've dropped, they've been winless, I should say, in their last 7. Have had a slew of draws this year, 5 draws to be exact. Can they get over that hump and pick up 3 points? They certainly have their work cut out for them. North Carolina side, who only entered today in last place in the league table. They've played some inspired soccer. That early goal from Caroline. Looked pretty comfortable today outside of that as well. Press on Kurtz. And there is the halftime whistle. We have played 45 minutes, and the visitors from the Tar Heel State have the lead thanks to number 9, Caroline. A 6-minute goal put her side ahead, and that's where we stand as these two sides head to the dressing room. Halftime in Leesburg, Virginia. 1-0 to score. North Carolina Courage lead the Washington Spirit. We'll have the second half for you in a bit. Don't go anywhere. This is NWSL on Twitch.
Alongside Ally and the Kennedy Center. Pride Night is powered by AWS. Please visit the merchandise tent behind the suites for tonight's Pride gear and other Spirit swag. Visit NikeSoccer.com for all the latest news and information on Nike soccer products. Visit NWSLsoccer.com to keep
2 record in those 3 meetings in favor of North Carolina. They have one more scheduled regular season match as well. So 2 sides who are incredibly familiar with one another. We have 45 minutes left to be played. As North Carolina in the whites and with the lead, work left to right. It's Washington Spirit in the blues. Washington Spirit just made the first substitution of the match for either side. Ashley Hatch, who came off the bench for the first time all season today, the reigning Golden Boot winner of the NWSL, is on the pitch. She's in for Audrey Harding. So Hatch, who already has netted 3 goals this year, good for 7th in the NWSL. He is on the pitch for the first time today, as Kingsbury gets an early touch in the second half. And Ashley Hatch, who of course was a former NC Courage player. In fact, she was the first ever draft pick in NC Courage history. Was acquired via trade from North Carolina back in 2018. Was the league rookie of the year back in 2017. It was a 6th-minute goal. That's the difference thus far by Caroline, her first of the regular season. In the final few minutes of that first half, we saw a little bit better combination from Washington as Rodman is whistled. Trinity Rodman had the most threatening opportunity. A ball that directed off the fingertips of Kingsbury and off the crossbar. Maddie Elwell found the back of the net as well, but she was called offside. As Rodman comes away with it. Finds the chest of Ashley Hatch, her first touch, and it's given right back to the visitors. Washington, winless in its last 7. They have some draws mixed in there, but they want the 3 points. Meanwhile, North Carolina entered today in last place. But a side that is full of skill. We saw in their Challenge Cup victory, which came against Washington. And I think there really is something to both of these sides playing some extended matches due to their deep run into the Challenge Cup. Both these sides met in the finals. And it's something that both coaches hit on as well, just the schedule congestion that came with that, the fatigue, and hey, you're playing more matches, there's an increased risk of injury. Has certainly had a negative impact on these two sides in their start to the regular season. Ordonez, who has had a monster start to the campaign, goals in back-to-back matches. Ordonez takes a deflection off of Sam Staub, and a corner kick on the way in the early goings in the second half for the visitors. This will be corner kick number 3 for North Carolina Courage. And it's Merritt Mathias who will send it in. Just a week ago, Mathias notched her first assist of the season. It was an across that found the head of Ordonez. We'll see if she can replicate that. Sonnet able to win that header. Mathias tries to center. It escapes over the end line for another corner. 4th corner of the night for the visitors. Now this Pride Night match in Leesburg, Virginia. You've seen some close-up shots of the captain armbands, which are in Pride colors, the prime-themed corner flags, and more. Washington actually had some really cool Pride-themed bucket hats that they displayed prior to the match. Carson Pickett puts it in. And it's headed out for yet another corner. Carolina had 2 corners in the first half. This already the 3rd of the second half. Comes in front and in. And it's 2-0 visitors. What a start to both halves for North Carolina Courage. And Aubrey Kingsbury is pleading her case with Jeremy Shear. And it's a goal for the visitors, who take a 2-0 lead as Hatch lets it rip. Not much of a threat. But what a start to both halves. They got the 6-minute goal in the first half.
North Carolina goal in the 51st minute. Scored by number 6,
50th minute.
Abby Ursig.
And it's Ursig who nets it. Her first of the season. A 3-time All-League selection. And she puts her side up 2-0. You figure with the amount of corners that they were getting in such a short amount of time, it was bound to happen. And just a perfectly placed corner. foot of Carson Pickett, first assist of the season for Pickett. And looking for more as Pinto wheels, her feet intercepted. And Chris Ward, the first-year head man for Washington, he acknowledged that hey, we have to limit North Carolina's ability to send in crosses. Forget about winning the ball in the air. We have to stop them from getting crosses in, period. Well, the corner kicks added up, and eventually the breakthrough as Rodman is whistled. They scored 2 headed balls last weekend against Louisville City to North Carolina in that 3-0 win. They have one today. There's Matthias. Ordonez now. Ordonez on the 1-2. Works it forward for Pinto. Has 3 in her left. Ordonez rips it, and it is off target. Diana Ordonez, who has scored in consecutive matches, is actually the first Courage player with 2 goals in her first 4 starts since none other than Washington's Ashley Hatch, who did it back in 2017 when she played for North Carolina. There is Ordonez, the 6th overall pick in the NWSL college draft. Sullivan content just to work it back. The North Carolina Courage in the face of some serious adversity. Both sides facing some adversity with Washington Spirit. 9 players out in the midst of a grueling stretch of schedule where they have just been chock full of matches. And for North Carolina, they're without their head coach, Sean Nahas, in COVID protocols. So it's Nathan Thackeray patrolling the sideline. And there's Caroline, who netted that 6-minute goal. Elwell wins it. They'll play on. Flicks it wide for Sanchez. Cross in from Sanchez. Redirected out by Ursig. Alfredi battling. And all the Matthias can do is kick it out. Still plenty of time for Washington to mount this rally. If there is one of the workings. Alfredi's feed, nearly given away. It's Sonnet. Works it out wide. Trinity Rodman dominates that right flank. Now Sanchez! Put it directly at Murphy. So there's that combination that this dangerous front crew is capable of. It started with the ball from Sonnet, and watch how much attention Rodman draws. There are 3 sets of eyes on her on the right side that leave Sanchez open. And unfortunately for her sake, just put it directly on Casey Murphy. Gaius just got rid of it to Pinto. Davinia, Caroline, Ordonez, Central, Caroline could not get the strike off. Ordonez works it, and Pickett. His whistle, offside flag was raised. Carson Pickett already one assist today on that second half 50th minute corner kick goal by Abby Erseg. Look at North Carolina's record, and this really applies to both of these sides. We've talked about the schedule congestion, the key players who have missed time. I think the 1-2-5 for Washington, the 1-3-1 for North Carolina, very deceptive. It's a long season. I would be shocked to see these two sides near the bottom of the league table come the end of the campaign. We're seeing flashes of what North Carolina are capable of. Their 3-0 thrashing of Louisville last weekend. Their strong start today. Caroline back in this starting 11. She has really been a difference maker for this team. I don't think it's any coincidence that they've started playing noticeably improved with her back in the lineup.
Spirit substitution in the 59th minute. Enter the game.
Substitution for Washington as Bailey Feist, who played the full 90 minutes on Wednesday against Chicago, enters for Julia Rado. Feist was threatening in that match against Chicago on Wednesday. She led the team with 11 final third entries. We'll see if she can conjure up some of that offensive prowess in the second half tonight. There's Hatch, a halftime substitute and a major scoring threat. About a half hour to go in this one. A rematch of the Challenge Cup Finals. And already the fourth meeting of this season between these two clubs. Thus far, it's been the visitors who have had their foot on the gas pedal. They really control things, and it hasn't just been the scoreline. Washington looking to muster something, anything. Side that has come oh so close to a slew of victories this year, but 5 draws of their 8 matches this season. They've battled injuries, they've battled extremely congested schedules. Have to go to a lot more younger players, less experienced players. Chris Ward said that's absolutely been a challenge, just to get so many young players in there. As Caroline works it, lays it for Davinia. Davinia comes off the last line of defense. And at that same token, Chris Ward did acknowledge that, hey, we don't know when we might have to use some of these younger, less experienced players. So these minutes that they get now could come back to really help us in the long run. He cited Taylor Almer having to step up in the playoffs last season. She got some minutes in the regular season. Had to come up in a big role last year. And who knows who may be called upon in a big match this year. So to get some younger players in, well, hey, maybe you'd rather get your main crew out there right now. Could pay dividends in the long run. First touch for Feist. It's a good one. Hatch, the former NC Current star, plays it for Sanchez. Dispossessed, comes to Rodman. Trinity Rodman is swarmed, and O'Sullivan comes away with it. Feist chips forward. Well, sent it wide. Good ball for Helferty. Oh, Sanchez tiptoeing that touchline and went a little bit beyond it. Saw a little bit of skill from number 10. Very close. I think at the tail end of it, they went over the touchline, but they're thrilled to have her back in the starting 11. Came on as a halftime substitute on Wednesday. As Warren said that Sanchez was chomping at the bit to get back in the pitch. O'Sullivan opens things up. Pickett, lofted ball towards Ordonez. Carolina Current set to make another substitution. Meredith Speck getting ready to head on for her 5th appearance this season. And Brianna Pinto, just her 2nd start of the campaign, ready to check off. Helferty, space to operate.
North Carolina substitution.
Here is that substitution.
65th minute.
So the night is done for Brianna Pinto. The Durham, North Carolina native comes off. And on comes Meredith Speck. Was subbed on against Louisville in the 66th minute. She comes out of the 65th minute this weekend. Carson Pickett rolls for Caroline. Marked by Sonnet. Sonnet get the better of that matchup. It's been a fun duel to watch. And Caroline didn't get a proper throw in. Robin tried to work that touch line. We will get another substitution for Chris Ward in Washington Spirit. As Morgan Goff enters for her 7th appearance of the season. The North Carolina native against her home state squad replaces the rookie Maddie Elwell, who had a solid performance tonight. Nearly netted a goal, but was whistled offside late in that first half. Her 2nd consecutive start. Elwell, the former Vanderbilt star, as Rodman keeps this in play. 1-on-1 in Ercing. That's a quality matchup. Ellie Feist slips it ahead. Sanchez! Can she get rid of it in time? And her cross pops out, nearly to the foot of Feist. And booted away. Perhaps that was the moment for Washington. Feist gives chase. And all Kaylee Kurtz can do is boot it away for a throw. Kurtz, who's one of just 2 North Carolina players who has recorded every minute this season. Her and Dabinia. Sam Staub can get a lot of mustard behind this toss. She'll do just that. She finds a head. It's Rodman on the turn. Unable to get a clean look off. And whistles as Sanchez was offside. A little bit out of the reach of Bogolski. Have to wonder if the frustration is starting to mount for this Washington Spirit squad. They face some very difficult challenges. You really can't put much blame on them because, hey, this is just how the schedule is cracked out. You really can't do much about injuries. They find themselves in a difficult spot. Scoreless last 2 matches. They've conceded 2 goals tonight. Dabinia and company looking for more. And it is Dabinia who sends in the service. And it's booted away. Rodman, that world-class pace. 1-1 on Matthias. Rodman lays it for Feist. Sidestepping and striking. Corner kick on the way for Washington. Can they break through in this second half? And again, watch the attention that Rodman draws. 3 defenders came her way. And that really opens things up for the rest of her team. Ashley Hatch gives a thumbs up on that play by Trinity Rodman. 8th corner kick comes in. And Dabinia had that played very well. And she takes some contact. '71st minute. And this rematch of the Challenge Cup Finals. And keep in mind, teams, at least this year, they'll just play each other twice. And that's it. But these 2 sides, this is their 4th meeting of what at least is now scheduled to be 5. They played 3 times in Challenge Cup play. As Dabinia splits through a pair, rolls ahead. Ordonez! Can she clip it through? She cannot. Works it back for Caroline. Caroline wiggles on the end line. Comes to a foot of Berkeley. And booted over the supporters. It was almost a 3rd for North Carolina. And man, as this side really improved things these last couple of matches. They had the 3-0 win last weekend over Racing Louisville. And entering that match, they had not scored more than 1 goal in a single regular season match this year. And to look back at that previous opportunity, I have to give credit to the seasoned veteran, Kingsbury. Here's another skilled keeper. It's Murphy racing off her line. Rodman slow to her feet. The supporters wanted a whistle. Let's see. As Bogolski pushing up from that right back spot. Laid a ball ahead, and you could see the check from Abby Ursay That's one that really could have gone either way. Perhaps a break for North Carolina Courage. Sullivan lost it. Now it's Feist. Feist probing. Helferty. Davinia dispossessed. It was because of a foul. The Bluebirds out in full effect tonight at Segra Fields. Bogowski lofts ahead, no trouble. Or the sure-footed Kaylee Kurtz comes right back to Bogowski. Finds the foot of Sanchez, fights, back to Sanchez, there it is! Washington on the board. It's the second of the season for Sanchez. How about the ball from Bogowski? Sanchez to Feist, right back to Sanchez. That is elite combination play in the final third. That is quality, and that is how you get on the board and snap a scoreless streak. And had been the last two matches. And Washington Spirit right back in this thing. There to the spec. Out of the reach of Ordonez.
Spirit substitution in the 76th minute.
What a moment.
Game, number 5.
A major return, to say the least, for Washington. It's Kelly O'Hara,
Leading the game, number 21.
who missed the last 4 matches. Heads on for Anna Helferty. O'Hara, who is part of a slew of Washington players who has missed serious action this season, is back in play. And the 2-time World Cup champion for the United States could just be the answer her side needs. And the game-winning goal in the 97th minute of last year's NWSL championship against North Carolina. Oh, and Hatch nearly had the takeaway. You could see the inspired play after that goal. Just adds that little extra boost, little extra pep in your step when you finally see something go through. And here it is. It was Feist to Sanchez. And it trickles through. Feist for physical challenge. Bogowski, who set up the previous goal. Cross in, just past the foot of Hatch and nearly settled to Rodman. They're inching closer to leveling this. And again, it was Bogowski Ball in from Goff. And it's another corner. Looking for that equalizer. Hatch rolls centrally, sawed it, down she goes. A point to the spot. Emily Sonnet playing out of position after that corner kick. Draws the contact, and a penalty kick on the way as she's tripped up by Kaylee Kurtz. Who wants it? It's Ashley Hatch, who was drafted by North Carolina Courage, the first ever draft pick in Courage history, a former Rookie of the Year until she was traded from North Carolina to Washington. Hatch equalizes against her former club. It's her fourth of this season, and a ferocious rally has these supporters in a frenzy. What a 5-minute stretch. Ashley Hatch, her fourth of this season. Her first goal in June after netting 3 in the month of May. And she has tied things at 2. And Ryan Williams heads on for acting head coach Nathan Thackeray. Sean Nahas, the first-year head man for North Carolina in COVID protocols, did not make the trip. And his side in some trouble now. Such inspired play by Washington, a side that very easily could have packed it in and said, hey, it's just not our night again. They are winless in their last 7 regular season matches. They trail 2-0 entering the 74th. They get one to the 74th, a PK in the 79th. And suddenly, they're staring down a potential victory if they can get that third. Big toss from Staub. Hooked ahead by Sanchez. Again Sanchez. Rodman nearly got there. It's a low rip and just wide from Almer. This ball pinballed around, hung in the air seemingly forever. Until Taylor Almer said, I'll have a shot. Sanchez, who got the scoring started for Washington. Almer leaves it for Sanchez. Sonnet, who drew that foul inside the 18. Chipped ahead by Staub. O'Hara in her return to play is fouled. Another change for North Carolina as Jaylene Daniels enters for Gianna Ordonez. And a little bit more defensive are the visitors. They've conceded 2 goals in the last 8 minutes. Flex out. Comes right back to Sanchez. Sanchez cross. Works its way over the end line. Ninth corner kick of the night, and again it's Stam Staub. Her ball finds a head and hangs at the top of the netting. And is Feist in the vicinity. And as we inch towards the finish line, what a match we have. North Carolina got things started in the 6th minute. Caroline, her first regular season goal. Took a 2-0 lead to the 50th. The tides have turned, and they've done so in a hurry. Rodman loops it ahead for Feist. Feist could not get the shot off. Tremendous play by this back line. Rodman stumbles, and she is fouled. Chris Ward was unsure if Trinity Rodman would play all 90 minutes. I think it's safe to say she's in this one for the long haul tonight. So again, it's Sam Staub, the only outfield player for Washington who has played every minute of the season. Cross in from Staub. Hooks off the head of Goff. And Daniels is able to play it off of Rodman. The reigning Rookie of the Year. Can she deliver another highlight reel moment? Pinto. She is fouled. Keep in mind, for much of this match, North Carolina had been controlling things with relative ease. They got the first 2 goals. The tides have turned. Caroline, who had the opening goal for North Carolina. Dabinia. Here's Ryan Williams. Williams plays it centrally. Dabinia trying to make a turn, can't do so. And Washington come away with it. Feist, targeted ball, looking for Rodman. Rodman is whistled. Another good feint, looking for Hatch. And how about that defensive effort by Ursig? Ursig, who had the 50th minute goal on a corner kick. Hatch, back for Feist. Slices. Feist slips it towards O'Hara. Pass cut away. Caroline held up. Easy call for Jeremy Shear. O'Hara gives it away. Right back to Sonnet. Speck That's the turnover. No play on. And now a whistle. There's a clear handball. And Washington Spirit saying, hey, you play the advantage. Extend Jeremy Shear and bring it back. And now North Carolina, perhaps improbably with the way this match has progressed in the final 20 or so minutes of this wild affair. They have an opportunity and a golden one at that. Let's see, so it was Speck who won it. And then there was the clear handball by Elmer. They played on, but the advantage did not last very long. Pickett sends it. Punched away by Kingsbury. Caroline. 1-1 on Hatch. Those are two offensive juggernauts. And it's Hatch who wins it. And Caroline is in some pain. A bit of contact to the face area. Well, given how familiar these two sides are with one another, you should expect nothing less than this. They drew twice in group play of the Challenge Cup. It was a 2-1 victory in the finals.
Carolina, number 8, Denise O'Sullivan, in the 89th minute.
Denise O'Sullivan issued a yellow card. North Carolina. North Carolina took the 2-0 lead. An early goal in the 6th minute, and the second of the 50th. But it's been a ferocious rally for the Washington Spirit. Big toss from Sam Staub. Pinballs around, finds a foot, nearly blasted home by Goff.
The fourth official has indicated
Look
that
back at
there will
this.
be a minimum of 3
Came to
minutes
Goff.
added to the match.
Did not get a clear window. 3 minutes of added time. Washington looking to snap a 7-match winless streak, while North Carolina looks to
A
creep
yellow
up the
card
league
caution
table.
has been issued to Spirit and number
Their
3,
last place
Sam
positioning.
Staub, in the extra time.
Sam Staub issued a yellow card as well. The bookings are coming out in these final few minutes from Jeremy Shear. A rematch of the Challenge Cup Finals, a rematch of a first-round playoff matchup from a year ago. The intensity has been there. The drama has built. Will there be a decisive moment? It's Dabinia, who skies it forward, and it sneaks through! Courage in front! A stoppage time goal. And North Carolina has the lead. The ball from Dabinia. Ursing tapped it initially. Kurtz on the finishing end of it. And it's the second of the season for Kaylee Kurtz. 3-2 North Carolina Courage. How can they hang on? Hatch hits the deck.
Goal scored in extra time.
Targeted ball, headed goalward, but no trouble for Casey Murphy. And North Carolina just moments away from stealing some points on the road. A 3-2 advantage. Perhaps one last attack. O'Hara gets rid of it quickly. Here comes a substitution. But first, a yellow card on Caroline.
Yellow card caution has been issued to North Carolina number 9.
Caroline comes off. She's replaced
in extra time
by the former Penn State
Carolina
Indy Lions
substitution in
standout,
extra
Frankie
time. Entering the game,
Tagliaferro.
number 24, Frankie Tagliaferro. Leaving the game, number 1,
Tagliaferro heads
Carolina.
on for the final moments. Sam looking to hang on to these 3 points. Rogalski. Skies it forward. Nothing going. And there is the whistle. North Carolina Courage. A gut check victory as they swarm their acting head coach, Nathan Thackeray,
North Carolina Courage 3.
filling in for Sean Nahas, who is in COVID protocols. And he and crew get the job done on the road. A 3-2 barn burner, a stoppage time winner. They absorb a ferocious 2-goal rally by the Washington Spirit and creep out a 3-2 victory. North Carolina Courage moved to 2-3-1 of the season, while Washington Spirit fall to 1-3-5. The final from Leesburg, Virginia. North Carolina Courage 3, Washington Spirit 2. A big thanks to all of you for joining us on Twitch. I'm John Gross saying so long. This has been NWSL Action live on Twitch.
During the 2022 NWSL season. When you can't watch your favorite team in person, be sure to tune in and watch. All NWSL games are available on either CBS, CBS Sports Network, Twitch, or Paramount.